Hi, hello! My name is Eric, not real Eric, and in this video I'm going to showcase the 8BitDo all-button arcade controller on the Nintendo Switch 2. This video is a follow-up to my prior video focusing on the 8BitDo arcade stick controller, so check it out here if you haven't done so already. The 8BitDo all-button arcade controller brings a modern take on the classic arcade experience. It features a leverless button layout for fast, precise inputs, hot swappable button switches for customization, and programmable buttons for accessibility or competitive play. It supports Nintendo Switch systems via Bluetooth and Windows over wired USB or wireless via low-latency 2.4 GHz USB dongle. The 8BitDo all-button arcade controller can be found available for purchase on the 8BitDo Amazon page. At the time of this writing, the leverless controller is actually $10 pricier than 8BitDo's arcade stick controller. It's also about 1/3 the size, giving it a much sleeker design. The trade-off is that its buttons aren't nearly as satisfying as the arcade stick's arcade-style buttons, instead feeling more like keyboard keys. Out of the box, the arcade controller may not connect to the Nintendo Switch 2, so we're going to have to update it and our USB dongle. On your computer, download and install the 8BitDo Ultimate Software version 2, then plug in both your 2.4 GHz dongle and your arcade controller to your computer so it can be recognized. Then, update both to the most recent firmware. For remapping, go into Profiles, go into or create your profile. Now this arcade controller doesn't normally read stick inputs, so I remapped the directional arrows to be the left stick and I assigned the 4 programmable buttons to be the D-pad. Don't forget to click on the yellow button to enable and disable the profile after saving. To pair our all-button arcade controller, make sure the knob is turned to S for Nintendo Switch. Once the controller is on, press and hold the green button until a white LED blinks indicating it's searching. Now let's go ahead and try out our controller's button inputs. In testing our controls, we need to remember that all 4 of the programmable buttons have been remapped to the directional buttons, and everything else here works too. A, B, X, Y, ZR, ZL, L, R, all of it works here and is functional. Now, let's get to some gameplay. First up is Mario Kart World. Out of the box, the 8BitDo all-button arcade controller doesn't have the left stick map, meaning the game isn't playable since your racer is controlled entirely through left stick input. After remapping the controls, we're able to steer, drift, perform tricks, and use items with the controller's large red action buttons. Our second title has to be one of Nintendo's longest game titles, Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup in Bellabel Park. This Nintendo Switch 2 release brings back the Koopalings for some of the series' best boss battles. As a 2D platformer, this is actually one of the best showcases for the all-button arcade controller. The simple directional inputs and the accessible button layout make movement like running and jumping feel natural from start to finish. Our third title is Super Mario Maker 2. Precision is everything here, especially when trying out one of these Kaizo levels, which demands near-perfect timing and accuracy. The 8BitDo all-button arcade controller's responsive inputs and straightforward layout makes it well-suited for these tough Kaizo challenges where nearly every jump and movement counts. Our fourth game is Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo Switch Online app. Another classic 2D platformer, the all-button arcade controller feels right at home with these types of games. The precise movement and responsive controls make every egg throw, ground pound, and jump feel exactly as it should. So if you die in Yoshi's Island, it was probably something you did. Our fifth game is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Continuing the tradition of excellent platformers from Good Feel, alongside Yoshi's Woolly World on Wii U and Yoshi's Crafted World on Nintendo Switch, Mysterious Book features a charming art style all its own. As another 2D platformer with simple, easy-to-learn controls, it's a perfect fit for the all-button arcade controller. Our sixth title is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is a series where I personally prefer playing with an analog stick, and the all-button arcade controller feels even less natural than playing Super Smash Bros. Brawl with the Wii Remote sideways. Despite being the best-selling fighting game ever, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is not as arcade controller friendly, at least for this leverless controller, as many of its other traditional fighting game contemporaries. That being said, this is still completely playable and doable, even if the lack of an analog stick means you can't do any tilt attacks. Our seventh game is The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. This is a top-down 2D adventure, and because its movement is largely grid and tile-based, it works well with the all-button arcade controller. And while it's a different style of 2D gameplay compared to the platformers thus far, the simple directional inputs and the accessible button layout makes it another great showcase of this controller's versatility. Our eighth game is F-Zero 99. All of the inputs needed for this game are easily accessible on the all-button arcade controller, but the biggest adjustment comes from the shoulder button layout. Arcade controllers and fight pads are designed around fighting games, which can sometimes place their L and their R buttons differently than on a traditional controller. And while that works great for plenty of fighters, it can be really confusing in other games. So making a sharp right turn with the shoulder button position on the left side can take a lot of time to get used to. Our ninth game is Star Fox on Nintendo Switch 2. This is one of the tougher showcases because the game feels very unnatural without an analog stick or a 3DS thumbpad. The left stick inputs are split across 4 buttons, and with the Y-axis being inverted, the learning curve just became even steeper for me. Games like this are not where the all-button arcade controller shines, but firing lasers repeatedly feels just as satisfying as ever.
Star Wars. Andros must be desperate if he hired you. Can't disarm the bomb while they're nipping at our heels. Appreciate it, Fox.
You learned that at your fancy school?
This guy's got it out for me.
Our 10th game, and we're halfway there, is Mario Tennis Fever. This is a title I really enjoyed, and I honestly think this could be the best Mario Tennis title alongside Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube. To my surprise, this game plays incredibly well with the all-button arcade controller. The action buttons line up naturally with all the different tennis shots, like top spin, slice, lob, and drop shots, making every swing feel accessible and responsive. This is surprisingly one of the biggest hits of the showcase for me. Our 11th game is Donkey Kong Bonanza, specifically trying out its Emerald Rush DLC during Wave 2 of the Super Mario Bros. 40th Anniversary crossover event. In this event, Donkey Kong and Pauline are dressed in Mario and Luigi outfits. The 8BitDo all-button arcade controller isn't an intuitive choice for an open-world 3D game such as this one. Precise movements feel finicky, and without a dedicated right stick to control the camera, exploration becomes a lot more difficult. Our 12th game is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. After highlighting DK's best 3D adventure with Bananza, it's only fitting that we showcase his best 2D adventure. Tropical Freeze is a masterclass in level design and music, and with its simple controls, it's another great game to showcase with the all-button arcade controller, in which it feels right at home. The responsive button layout with this controller makes even the most toughest platforming challenges feel precise and easy to overcome. Our 13th game is Pokémon Violet. I've always appreciated Pokémon's laid-back nature. Since its battles are turn-based rather than in real time, there's never really a need to rush your button inputs. Combined with the all-button arcade controller's large face buttons and accessible layout, this offers a comfortable way for players with disabilities or limited hand mobility to enjoy the game at their own pace. Our 14th game is Kirby Air Riders. This may have the simplest controls of any game in this showcase. Riders accelerate automatically, leaving the A button free to handle braking and drifting, while a secondary button like Y activates your special ability. While Kirby Air Riders isn't a 2D game or a platformer, its simple control scheme and precise gameplay make it an excellent fit for this arcade controller. For our 15th game, Super Mario Odyssey. While 2D Mario feels right at home with the all-button arcade controller, 3D Mario is a bit of a mixed experience. In these tighter spaces, I found precise movement harder to gauge without an analog stick. However, in larger open areas, I actually performed on par, if not better than I ever did with the Pro controller. For these last few games, I wanted to showcase the 8BitDo all-button arcade controller where it truly shines, with traditional fighting games. For our 16th game, we have Street Fighter 6 running on my Xbox Series S with the help of the Mayflash Magic X adapter. This is exactly the type of game this controller was built for. Special moves, combos, and directional inputs feel fast, precise, and like they pack a punch. Our 17th game is Mortal Kombat 9, also running on my Xbox Series S with the help of the Mayflash Magic X adapter. Just like Street Fighter 6, the all-button arcade controller feels right at home here, especially when I'm trying to spam Scorpion's iconic spear move.
Scorpion wins.
Our 18th game is Tekken 8. Played on my PC using the controller's included 2.4 GHz wireless adapter. The wireless connection feels lag-free, and the all-button arcade controller delivers the fast, smooth, and satisfying inputs you expect from this traditional arcade setup. Our 19th game is Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube Nintendo Switch Online app. This exceptional fighter features Link as the GameCube exclusive guest character, and what sets Soul Calibur apart from traditional fighters like Street Fighter and Tekken is its emphasis on weapons-based combat. However, it still follows many of the familiar fighting game conventions we've seen before, making it another excellent fit for this arcade controller. Our 20th and final game, Tekken 3D Prime Edition. Maybe in a future video I'll explain how this is all possible. And there we have it, the 8BitDo all-button arcade controller showcased on the Nintendo Switch 2. Throughout this video, we tested it across 20 different video games and found it to be an impressive leverless controller that handled both retro and modern titles with ease. It shines the most with 2D games, where simpler inputs allow for it to stand out. Overall, the 8BitDo all-button arcade controller is a phenomenal addition to the Nintendo Switch 2. But that's going to be all for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like and subscribing. Follow me on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. My name is Eric, not Real Eric. Stay real, stay safe, stay you. Thank you for 500 YouTube subscribers, and we'll see you in the next one.